Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Today being Sunday, the 19th of April 2026, I'd like to welcome you once more to our channel and thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to be part of us tonight. As we usually do, I'd like to remind you again to make sure, if you haven't yet, that you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, participate in the discussions and commentary, and invite other people to be part of this movement. Today, I thought I would tackle a topic that I believe is very critical and of importance. And I'll make a reference to a book written and published by Dr. Mfuniselwa Pengu. Pengu is an academic and a commentator on issues of African development, of economic development, and innovation. And I thought that as members of the innovation community and national system of innovation in South Africa, we should include this particular topic in our discussions, and that's the focus for today. Dr. Pengu tackles an issue that I believe hasn't been attended to in South Africa, or at the very least hasn't been given the vigor and the seriousness that I believe it deserves, because it's of fundamental importance, and it's what he calls African economic humanism. That is an approach to economic development and economic systems that take an African perspective and view of the world, and then you'll see why that is naturally of interest to our channel, given what this movement of ours is about. So Pengu argues very strongly and convincingly that one of the reasons for failures, apparent and real, of capitalism and economic reality systems and existing systems in our country and throughout the continent is because they are all informed by foreign values and views of the world. And he argues that unless things take a particular, an apologetic and particularly African perspective that not only recognizes but advances and places at the center and at the core and at the leadership values and ways of living and views of the world of African people that had been there for centuries, long before colonial invaders came to our shores, then nothing will work. That is Pengu's view. He says, let's take that perspective. I've got a copy of his book here, which comes highly recommended. I challenge you to get a copy for yourself read, not only read it, but then engage with it and see how it applies in your particular environment. It's available online, and you can get yourself a copy. And I think it's part of a series of a particular movement that Dr. Bengu is part or has been part of, and then you can get to see he's authored a number of papers and books on a variety of topics, but the essence, the common trend in all his work, writings, or academic work, is that of an African viewpoint on things, development, things cultural, things economic, and so on. So I really recommend this book by Dr. Bengu, and I think there is a lot to learn from it. And as I said, not only should you learn, but engage with him. I have engaged even with him in the past, personally, via email and other things, and he's quite responsive and an excited kind of academic who like to engage with his readers and other people. I encourage you to do that. That is what tonight's session was about. It's about the African economic humanism and how capitalism or any other economic system have to work in Africa, and how do we innovate from that perspective for the development of the people of this continent. And I thought in this particular instance we will use Bengu's book as a reference for purposes of reference, but the issue is bigger than that, than this book in particular. But I thought I should refer to it and encourage you to engage, to get yourself a copy, engage with it and with the issues that are raised there, and see how that applies to your particular situation as a practitioner in the national system of innovation, and we see how do we incorporate that in our quest in this channel and in the broader community for innovative developments which are in the interest of African people. As I've said before, the of particular interest, and something that we are very conscious about in this channel, is that we want African people not to be mere consumers, but they must lead in all these. They must not just be consumers of ideas and perspectives developed by other people with their own interests, but we must be leaders in this, and that's the challenge that I like to pose to all of us really this afternoon, and I like to engage with. And we're running out of time again, and we'll get back to this topic in the future. And as I always say, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this movement. And I say, Utemba, Nguwakamathaba. I say bye-bye.